This video is for my international audience where people keep asking, like, what are those other videos that you do in your native language? So today I'm going to tell you a little about all those videos that I'm doing and what's going on in my country called Pakistan. This video might be a bit longer than normal, so I request you all to be patient and listen carefully as to what I'm telling you, because the script is the same no matter which part of the world you're from. It might be happening in your country too. To this day, the biggest tutor of the horn of democracy and freedom is the United States government. Irrespective of whoever is or was the leader of the government, the majority topic of every conversation with every country leader has been around democracy and freedom. And yet it has always been the opposite. I'm going to talk about something that many of my international audience has asked about. My other videos are about my native country of Pakistan, a country that I belong to. It came into being August 14, 1947, and since its birth, it has been with the US camp, or should I say, under it. Despite of US encouraging democracy everywhere, Pakistan specifically has been struggling with it, and majority of the times, every democratically elected government has been toppled by a dictator, namely any army general, who then took over as a power-centric dictator, and the US never had any problem with it. In fact, every time a US president visited Pakistan, it was during the tenure of a dictator. And not once the word democracy or freedom was mentioned in front of those dictators. Fast forward to the date of August 20th, 2018, when another government was elected democratically, whose leader is called Imran Khan, who is a prominent international personality, a prominent sportsman who won us the Cricket World Cup under highly unlikely conditions, who is a philanthropist, who is a celebrity, and has connections all over the world. He formed his government, and then things started improving. People were happy. GDP was at 6%, and businesses were booming. In fact, even during the period of COVID, when other governments were struggling, Pakistan was doing pretty good and was basically commended by the UN for the steps taken by the Prime Minister, Imran Khan. And literally, there was a shortage of labor. There was so much work. People were looking for workers and labor. Long story short, his government all of a sudden came under fire. What was the reason? First thing, an interview in which he was asked by, I think it was an anchor person by representing Fox News, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he was asked a question: if the United States asks Pakistan for military bases or drone bases to carry out attacks in Afghanistan, will Imran Khan agree to that? And he said promptly, absolutely not. Mistake number one. What was mistake number two? He went to Russia seeking closer ties and relationships with our neighbors. So it was part of that mission that he wanted good relationships with our neighbors and also good trade ties. He met Putin, and the first thing he expressed was his concern over the Ukraine attack, and he had requested a ceasefire, to which Putin agreed and responded positively. But the big democratic powers had other plans, and of course, within that period, you know what Boris Johnson did. On April 7, 2022, there was literally a technical coup that happened, which was supported by an army chief sitting in the background with a puppet and corrupt political government coming forward, comprising of corrupt and accused and politicians, including the then Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, who was under scrutiny by the then High Court and Supreme Court, where all of his cases had been proved. His brother had defected to the United Kingdom and had taken asylum there, stolen all the money and went there. Everything was proven. But these were the people that were brought into power. The court, the Supreme Court, backed their decision, despite that Imran Khan had dissolved the National Assembly, the parliament, and had arranged for elections. But the Supreme Court reversed that decision, restored that parliament, only to be dissolved again. Doesn't make any sense. But after that, the real nightmare starts. Your economy, everything went to shit. Everything went down the drain. Your economy, which was running at a rate of 6%, went into negative in a record time of 7 to 8 months. Your foreign reserves, which were at $22 billion, went to zero, almost zero. Where these people, literally, it was reported by the mainstream media that there were suitcases filled with cash of US dollars loaded into airplanes, and then they just took off to unknown destinations. Everything was being done openly. And then, as if that wasn't enough, it started as the party called PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, came under attack by this unannounced dictatorship, where their members, workers, were being abducted, they were being forcefully jailed, they were being tortured. Whoever reported it or spoke against it, whether you're a common person, an ordinary citizen, whether you're a politician belonging to any party, you would be jailed, tortured, abducted, anything by any means possible. If you're a journalist, just like the late Arshad Sharif Shaheed, who spoke openly against this, and he was warned, and to save his life, he first requested the Supreme Court that his life is in danger and if he could be provided with security, to which the Supreme Court responded with nothing. And then to save his life, he first fled to Dubai, where once again the dictatorship used their influence to oust him from Dubai. He went to Kenya, where he was murdered. Another prominent name, Khan, he was abducted for over 150 days for speaking openly against these dictatorial steps and these undemocratic things happening in Pakistan. And when he came out of that abduction, he is not the same, like physically and mentally. That means that he has been tortured so much. So Imran Khan was jailed. His cases are not being heard fairly by the courts. Majority of his members were tortured and forced to change their parties and join other parties. The ones that are not doing it are basically, they have disappeared. God knows if they have disappeared on their own or if they have been abducted. A lot of their workers, over 20,000 of them, are in jail without any sort of charges or any presentation in the court or any legal representation. And that's just the gist of it. There's a lot more happening as well, where the workers have been killed, where the workers have been openly tortured, where the workers have been, not just them, their families, little kids have died. And the US seems to be okay with it. Now, this very representative of this dictatorial government is in the US, along with his other generals. And the US government and their officials have no problem with it. They're openly meeting, they're discussing, they're keeping everything under the table and not getting too much media coverage, or the media has been told not to give too much coverage. But it seems they don't have any problem with it. Once again, keeping the tradition that US has always come close to Pakistan under the reign of a dictator while tooting the horn of democracy. So this is what's going on in my country, and now they are not holding elections because they know the most prominent and the most strongest political party is PDI. If they hold elections, let alone fair and free, which we don't expect them to be, but if they hold a fair and free election, this company will do a landslide victory. So the democracy is working against the democracy. President Joe Biden has no problem with it. So please pray for us as I pray for my country, and I pray for all of you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being patient. Stay posted, and thank you for all your support. Take care. Bye for now.